Good morning. Today is Monday, March 10th, and it is our first morning here in Nagoya. We arrived yesterday evening after taking the Shinkansen from Odawara Station. It was about an hour long ride, very quick, lightning speed. It was really cool to be on such a quick train. So the Tokaido Shinkansen, which is the one that we were on, travels at a top speed of 285 kilometers per hour, which at that speed makes it pretty tough to take in a lot of the smaller landscape features and historical landmarks like castles and things like that. We're pretty close to the coast as well, so we got to see some of the ocean. But I was in the middle seat, so I couldn't see a whole lot. We got into our hotel. We're staying at Hotel and Rooms, which is in Sakai, which is relatively central in Nagoya. It's a shopping and entertainment district. And we're here because Trey has a workshop with collaborators in the Asia Pacific region, and he is currently out at Nagoya University. So he's there for the week, and I kind of have the week to myself to explore Nagoya. So it looks like a beautiful morning, and the plan is to do a bit of birding while it's still morning, and then I'll check out some of the other areas that are pretty close to our hotel. Probably just walk around the area and get a feel for the vibes today. Also do a little bit quick tour of the hotel room. So it's a 3-star hotel, relatively affordable, very clean, modern, a decent sized space. This is the main space here. There's a bed, desk. We have a little mini fridge, very good lighting. There's a window that looks out onto the street. We're on the 2nd floor. TV with no HDMI cable, so we can't hook up any of our devices, unfortunately. The big negative, I'd say, is that there's no closet. We just have these 2 hooks for our clothes. So it's a bit of a struggle to accommodate all of our clothing. And then, of course, there's the bathroom. All relatively clean and new. There's a shower and a bath. An additional perk of this place is that there's a hot bath on the 12th floor on the roof. And we tried that out yesterday. Kind of a similar setup as the onsens, but you kind of have public showers, and then you have lockers. It's gendered, of course. So you take off your clothes, they give you like a robe that you wear to get to the bath. You take that all off, you shower, and you go into the bath. There's an outdoor one and an indoor one, as well as a sauna. So that's really nice. Then one other little hiccup that we experienced yesterday is that we had our suitcases shipped here from Tokyo because we didn't want to have to deal with our suitcases in Hakone where we were last night. And only one of them arrived. So Trey's suitcase was here. They told us that mine should be arriving tomorrow, which is today. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that it gets here, because otherwise I only have what I brought in my backpack, which was 1 change of clothes and, the things I take when I'm out and about during the day. It's interesting because, of course, we dropped them off together. We paid together. So quite strange that only one of them arrived. There was a huge flock of Japanese grosbeaks just foraging the ground here. They flushed up at least 50. Okay, so I've made it to Meijō Park, which is just north of Nagoya Castle. You can see the castle in the background here. That you have to pay to enter, and there's a whole garden, castle sort of building complex inside the walls. This is actually the moat that goes all the way around the castle, and on this side is the park. It's a pretty urban park. It doesn't look like there's a ton of native birding habitat, mostly manicured with some trees. But there are some birds that are around the moat here. There's some reeds and stuff along the edges. There's a gray heron just now, a snowy egret, gray cormorant, a few kind of more urban associated wetland birds like that. But it's actually surprisingly quiet here. I guess it's a Monday afternoon, but compared to the crowds and stuff that we saw in Tokyo and Hakone. This is very refreshing, and it's a beautiful day. I'm in my t-shirt now. It's warming up. There's almost no wind, so yeah, it's really looking like it's going to turn into a beautiful afternoon. And this is nice. There's actually a little sign here with some of the common birds in the area, and it's actually very useful because I'm pretty sure I saw this bird dart from the reeds on this side of the moat to the other side, but I only caught a glimpse of this yellow rump. So I gotta check out what that one's called in English. And then right next to it we have some interpretive signs talking about Nagoya Castle, and there's a large restoration project actually going on right across the way. This large stone wall collapsed some time ago, and they've been renovating it for quite a while. Hey, good morning. Maddie B Adventuring here. Today is Wednesday, March 12th here in Nagoya. I had a little bit of a low-key day yesterday because it was quite rainy, so I did some shopping. And today the weather has improved a little bit, so I'm back out exploring another part of the city. Today I am in Tsuruma Park, which is a little bit southeast of Sakai, a little bit more on the outskirts of downtown, I guess. And it's much quieter here. This park, I guess, is known as a good place to see cherry blossoms, and there's some ponds, and it looks like a pretty large park, so I'm hoping to see some cool birds here. And then later I'm probably going to walk over to the park that has the Science Museum and Planetarium, which are one of the major tourist attractions in Nagoya, and apparently the biggest planetarium in Japan, or maybe the world, so we'll see how that goes. Well, I might have spoken too soon because it's starting to sprinkle just a little bit. Doesn't look too bad though, hopefully it stays light. Areas where there's like some agriculture happening, like horticulture, I guess. Areas where there's like new plantings going on. There's like a school group over there doing something. Lots of people here just obviously biking and relaxing. There's some people birding. But overall the park is pretty heavily manicured. It's a very urban park still. But there are several ponds, which is always great for birds because waterfowl like urban ponds a lot. So there's a few teals, there's a shovel over there, and there was a gray heron back the other way. But overall it's pretty quiet. Mostly pretty typical urban birds around. This is actually turning out to be a pretty decent spot over here in this little pond. I spotted 2 bull-headed shrikes. There's also a dowry and redstart, a female, and dusky thrush over there. And we got a couple eastern spot-billed ducks here as well, so not too bad. Looks like it's a little early for the cherry blossoms, unfortunately. One really cool thing about walking through the streets, just anywhere in the cities in Japan, is you just randomly come across these really old looking shrines kind of interspersed throughout the modern busy city streets. This is Kasuga Shrine. So behind me here is Osu Kannon, a Buddhist temple dedicated to the goddess of mercy, Kannon. This temple is founded in the 14th century, but it was rebuilt at a later date, and it houses some important historical artifacts. Alright, coming up on the Science Museum and Planetarium over here. Alright, I'm going to head into the Science Museum and Planetarium. Got a show at 2 o'clock, and there's almost no one here, so it looks like most things are in Japanese, most of the signage. so should be interesting. Okay, this is the lounge on the first floor. Alrighty, so I'm taking a little break here. So far I have done the planetarium show. It's basically a 15-minute long show. You go into this large room, obviously, and then you sit in these recliners and basically face upward, and then the whole entire upper hemisphere of the room, because it's a giant ball, is projected as a night sky, and then they play. It's really just a slideshow projected onto a large chunk of the sky directly above. The entire thing is in Japanese. It's sort of more like a presentation style delivery. The visuals are a little bit dated. Even though I didn't understand a whole lot of it, I still got some things out of it. I learned a little bit. And honestly, I just kind of saw it as an opportunity to take a break from walking around the city all day exploring. The chairs are really comfortable. You get to recline. You kind of just lie back and look up and listen. I really enjoy also just the sound of someone speaking Japanese very clearly. So it kind of helped me learn a little bit, trying to read the characters and stuff on the screen. There was a little bit of snoring. A couple people fell asleep nearby me, and they were snoring, but it wasn't too distracting. And then I've been kind of taking some time to explore the rest of the planetarium, and then I'm also making my way down the science building, or the science museum proper, which is basically divided into sort of two floors. I've kind of been making my way down each floor here, walking through, and then the life sciences is over there, so I'm going to do that next. But it's pretty fun. There's a lot of really interactive exhibits. Also, the other crazy, absurd thing is that the planetarium show is only 400 yen, which is less than $3 US, and the museum and the planetarium combined is 800 yen, so that's like $5. So definitely pretty amazing deal, I would say. Alright, I just finished the Science Museum and Planetarium. Overall, I spent about 2 hours in the museum and then about an hour in the planetarium for the show. Overall, it was a lot of fun. Some really cool exhibits, lots of interesting things to interact with, hands-on. I would have to admit, much to my chagrin, that the physical sciences wing was better than the life sciences wing. I think it was just newer. I think it felt a little bit more modern. There were just more exhibits you can interact with. But that's okay, both of them were cool. Alright, just stopped at Family Mart for a little snack. I really can't reiterate enough how useful and valuable all the corner stores are. The Konbini, Family Mart, Lawson, and 7-Eleven. Basically, there's one on every other block, and they have such a good selection of food, and it's super cheap. So if you don't have time to go out for every meal, or you want to save some money and you're on the go, you just run in there and grab some food, and it's super convenient. One big caveat though is that it's considered bad manners to eat while you're on the go, eat and drink actually, while you're walking. So you kind of have to take a moment to eat whatever you get before you continue with your day. Usually they have seating areas at the front of the store for that purpose. Same with like cafes and stuff. If you go to get a coffee, it's expected that you're going to finish the coffee before you leave the cafe. So it's something to keep in mind. Hello, 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 good morning. Today is Thursday, and I'm starting the day with a visit to the Atsuta-jingu shrine, which is the most famous shrine in Nagoya and one of the most sacred shrines in all of Japan. It hosts one of the most valuable relics in all of Japan, the Kanasugai sword, which is a really precious relic that is hidden away. You can't actually see it, but I guess the shrine itself is really interesting and houses lots of different historical items. This large tree is one of 7 camphor trees said to be planted in the area, and it's supposedly over 1,000 years old. Alright, so the interesting thing about this shrine is that it houses one of the really 3 most important relics in Japan, the Kusanagai no Mitsurugi, a famous sword that's been enshrined here since the year 113, one of 3 imperial regalias representing the imperial seal. However, you're not actually allowed to see this sword or even the building that it's stored in because it's so precious. So the main shrine there isn't really all that much to see. There's a gift shop where you can buy various things. It's all lost to me because it's all in Japanese and I don't really know what the traditions and the cultures are surrounding shrines like these. It would be helpful to come here with a local who knows, what the traditions are and can speak the language. But the shrine itself is actually located in a really large sort of park-like area. It's a huge forest with lots of other places of note, including a museum that houses a whole bunch of famous swords. So the nice thing is there are lots of trails that go through the forest and lead to various little shrines that you can pray at and make wishes at. There's one really cool one that has a spring behind it, and it's said that if you pray there 3 times a day that a special wish will come true and that bathing in the spring water will make you beautiful. It's a nice place to get away from the city. Probably one of the nicest forests I've seen so far in Nagoya here, and there's quite a few birds as well. Alright, so that's the Atsuta-jingu shrine. Overall, I spent a little over an hour there, and I kind of walked through most of the property to check out all the various little shrines. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to do the sword museum because it's cash only, and I ran out of cash. It's only 500 yen to get in, but apparently it's also quite small. It's just one little room, but you can't hold the swords. They have some really long ones that are like 3 meters or something. Overall, a really cool place, relatively busy, one of the busier tourist sites in Nagoya, and I went kind of late morning, so it wasn't too bad during a weekday. Okay, it is about 12:30, and I'm on to the next stop on this adventure here. Right now, I am making my way down to a birding spot. It's pretty out of the way, actually. It's kind of down toward the port, a little bit further past the port. I took the bus for about 45 minutes from Atsuta Shrine. Specifically, this area is a Ramsar wetland designated area, which is considered an important wetland globally. It's called the Fujimai Tidal Flat Inai Visitor Center, and it seemed to be like one of the premier birding spots in Nagoya. There weren't too many, It is pretty far out of the way, so I don't think it's a busy place for a lot of people to come. If you are into birding, this might be a place worth checking out. Anyway, we'll find out. It does look like the tides are favorable. It was low about an hour ago, so they're coming in now. And we do have a few birds right here. Good spot for shorebirds, egrets, cormorants, ducks this time of year. So yeah, specifically this is known as a shorebird hotspot. I guess one of the busier stopovers for migrating shorebirds in this part of Japan. And it's very industrial around here, so not a whole lot of other areas where these birds are going to stop, it doesn't look like. You can see in the distance there, a lot of industry. But so far it looks pretty good. There's a little egret down there, teals. Okay, so I just spent about an hour and a half birding at Fujimai, and actually it turned out to be a huge success for me. I got some new lifers, saw some cool birds. The thing that makes it great is that the visitor center there has this huge viewing area facing the tidal flats with a bunch of scopes that are just set up anchored down so they're nice and sturdy. There's probably about 10 of them, and there was almost no one else there. Surprisingly quiet. I wasn't even sure if it was open at first. But without that, I didn't see a whole lot of birds just through my binos walking because the mudflats are quite far out and you definitely need a scope to see the birds out there. But once I got inside, I was able to see quite a few, and there were a couple of ladies inside that helped me identify a few of them. The Ramsar wetland site actually encompasses that whole part of that bay, and tidal flats are pretty extensive when the tide is out. You can see them in the distance better with the scopes. And there's some good habitat there for lots of shorebirds. There were some dunlins there. Managed to see a couple new gulls, Sauter's gull. I had that indoor space to just kind of chill out and watch the birds from, because that made a huge difference because it is really windy at the moment. So I didn't really record any video last night, but we had a really fun night out. Trey's friend and colleague Joe took us out for a night at izakaya. She speaks Japanese, but she's from Australia, so she was able to translate for us, which was very helpful because Nagoya isn't a big tourist city, so a lot of the people in the service industry don't speak English, or at least it's very limited. So we went to this izakaya bar. We had all you can drink sake, which was only about 2,200 yen. And we got to sample like 4 or 5 different kinds of sake. And we also ordered a selection of local izakaya dishes. Some of the more interesting and different dishes that we tried included shakiro, which is fish sperm sacs, usually from cod. So it's like the organs that contain the sperm from inside the fish. Shakiro was actually very tasty. It was surprisingly smooth and soft. Really interesting texture. Another one was tako wasa, which is a raw octopus in wasabi sauce, which was really chewy. And then after that, we got pretty drunk. We went to karaoke in a nearby bar, and that was really fun. So after our night out last night, I had a little bit of a slower start to the day because I did drink quite a bit and had to take some time this morning to recover. But now I'm ready to head out on another adventure. Today's Friday, and the plan is to check out the Higashiyama Zoo and botanical gardens, which are apparently quite extensive, and we'll see how much I can get through in an afternoon. It's also supposed to be quite nice, up to about 20 degrees and sunny today, so I think this is going to be the nicest day of our entire trip. So I figure it's a good day to spend at the zoo. Okay, made it into the zoo without any issues. It's actually not very busy at all, and it's beautiful and warm. I'm in my t-shirt and ready to explore this place. Of course, there's also an amusement park here, as well as a botanical garden and a zoo and a scenic tower that I got added onto my ticket for an extra 140 yen, so, why not? The zoo itself is only 500 yen, so again, like another super affordable tourist attraction. Alright, so this zoo is pretty massive. I got this map here, and it looks like it's going to be quite the trek to see all of it. Might not get everything today, but they have a Komodo dragon, which is my primary motive for coming here because I love Komodo dragons. I've only ever seen one in the Toronto Zoo. Hopefully, it's a big adult. And to the Sky Tower via this very long escalator. Alright, so I'm at the top of the Sky Tower now. Actually, I don't know if it's the top floor. There's another observation deck a little bit higher. It was a quick elevator ride to the top. I was ushered through with some Japanese people. No English, but I made it here. Everybody's friendly. And the views are quite breathtaking. Alright, so this is the 4th floor. Turns out the 7th floor is actually just a restaurant. You can't really see much from there unless you go into the restaurant, which I did not. And this is the Sky Lounge, the 4th floor. Just got back from the top of the Sky Tower, and it was pretty cool up there. It only took about maybe 20 minutes to see all of there is to see. There's a little gift store at the top, and then, like I was saying, a restaurant at the 4th, or the very top floor, the 7th floor. But yeah, for 140 extra yen, definitely worthwhile, I think. So right now I'm in the fish world. I'm just gonna have a quick walk through because I don't have a whole lot of time left. And there's a lot of zoo to see still. Alright, Alright, I got myself a little snack from the vending machine. They've got a couple different cafes, including here, and of course there's vending machines everywhere, so it's easy to get a refreshment whenever you need. Alright, checking in here, a little progress update. So it's currently 3:30. I have less than an hour and a half left. Of course, the zoo wouldn't be complete without a little pond with paddle boats themed as different animals. And then there's a train that kind of goes around this part of the zoo as well. Also just stopped for a little bite at the Zoo Oasis Cafe, which is kind of in the center of the zoo down there. And that seems to have a much better selection than the cafe at the North Garden where I was prior. They have proper meals there, several different vendors. You can get onigiri and that kind of stuff there. So this far back end of the zoo, kind of towards the botanical gardens, there's this little corner. It has a petting zoo, as well as some interesting Japanese wildlife. It's a bit dated, however, like it feels a bit older, the enclosures, and it's not very busy. But they do have some Japanese macaques there, big enclosure, and then this cool cat that I was just looking at, this Tsushima cat, which is a subspecies of the Bengal cat that's found only on Tsushima Island, which is a small island between Korea and Japan that was separated from the Asian continent 100,000 years ago. So this small cat has been evolving separately on this island, and there's only 100 left in the wild population, and they have 2 rescues that were brought to the zoo here in 2023. So that was really cool to see. Probably hard to see this species anywhere else, I imagine. The other thing I forgot to mention is that quite a few of the enclosures here are closed. Looks like they're no longer operational, including this large enclosure behind me. I guess there was some kind of flying squirrel forest, but that seems to be closed at this point in time. Well, I think that was the most entertaining part of my trip so far, is watching the seals get fed, but not just the seals, but all the gray herons that are also joining in the feeding frenzy. There were at least 7 herons there that were actively stealing food from the seals and interacting with the seals and each other. It was very entertaining. Alright, looks like the zoo is emptying out. That music means it's time to go. It's closing in about 7 minutes, so better get moving. Still some things I haven't seen. I'm just kind of looking at them on the way out. A lot of the African and European animals. Alright, so there's actually another Buddhist temple really nearby the zoo called Toganji Temple, and there's a really large green Buddha statue there, so I figured might as well check that out while I'm in the area. It's only a 15-minute walk, a kilometer exactly, and here I am. I made it. Here it is. It looks like there's nobody else here. Super cool. Wow. strangely quiet here. It's very peaceful. I just grabbed myself a fortune. So the way it works is you toss a coin into the donation bin there, and then there's some fortunes that you can grab, and then if you have a bad fortune, you tie it onto a tree or elsewhere to make the fortune dissipate, and if it's good fortune, you take it home with you. Alright, that was Toganji Temple. Absolutely quiet on a relatively busy Friday late afternoon.
Sky deck. Please enjoy the open air sky balcony.
Open air.
Oh, that. Oh boy. Alright, we're in the MIRAI Tower. There's the rest of the tower.
We need someone to change the light bulb on this one.
Pretty windy. Good morning. Today is Saturday, our final full day in Nagoya, and we've saved, hopefully, the best attraction for last, Nagoya Castle. So we're gonna start a tour, an English tour around the castle at 12:30 with our friend and Trey's colleague, Dan. It's kind of a gloomy, chilly day today, so we're pretty bundled up, but hopefully it's sheltered from the wind in the castle by the walls. Oh, oh yeah. Yeah, so there's like a bunch of different little food thingies, but a lot of them look pretty touristy.
Mm. 6 months? Wow. There's a mammal down there.
Oh. Oh.
Before several years now.
Golden dolphin.
Golden, actually gold, genuine gold.
Oh wow.
18 gold.
Let's find out. Yeah.
Inside the sphere, you can see design.
Good evening. It is Saturday night here, and we just finished our last full day of exploring in Nagoya. We did a tour of Nagoya Castle. We paid an entry fee, which was 500 yen, and then they offer free English tours. Three of us were led through a small portion of the castle area. It's really just the inside of the castle. There's like an inner wall within the main castle wall. They lead you to that main inner wall, and then you go inside the Homaru Palace. You follow like a sort of like a walkway through various different rooms. It's all restored. It all burned down during World War II. This palace, it was constructed in 1615. It served as a residence of the Lord of the Owari domain and the seat of government for the domain. It has like some important style architecture, Shoin Sukuri style, and has some really cool decorative like murals along the walls, showcasing like different symbolism in Japanese history. and our tour guide was really gracious and friendly, and she was really, I think, keen on showing us this area. She was really passionate about it. We got to see the castle a little bit on the outside, but because it was raining so much, when we left, we kind of just decided to get out of there and find shelter. So we made our way back into Sakai and went down into the mall, Central Park, which is really near our apartment. And then so we went there for sushi, conveyor belt sushi. I guess it was like a nigiri specialty sushi place in the mall. You ordered everything on a screen in front of you, a tablet, and then they would just hand it to you and you could grab stuff off the conveyor belt as well. Then we had a little bit of a break. We came back to the hotel, went into the onsen, which was amazingly refreshing after all that wet cold. And then we went back out for dinner around 7. We just got back from that. We went out for ramen, another restaurant in a mall, a department store, actually right next to the Book Off.
Casino place is a gambling place.
We checked out this claw machine store or whatever place that had like 3 different floors of games. And it's all coin operated. And then we went to the Pachinko casino-like place, which is like just arcade games but casino style, and just as like sensory overload as casino. So yeah, it was another cool, fun evening. Still pretty rainy, but the wind had died down, so it wasn't too cold. And that's it for Nagoya. So
we sent our luggage off to Kyoto. Hopefully it shows up on time this time.
That's right, yeah. We're doing the luggage shipping again. Mine arrived only a day late, so it wasn't too big a deal. But tomorrow we're taking the Shinkansen to Kyoto, and then that will basically start the final leg of our trip in Japan. All right, signing out for the night. Good morning. Today's Sunday, and we just got our Shinkansen tickets at Nagoya Station, and we're ready to go to Kyoto. It's actually only 36 minutes, so it'll be a quick one. We're just kind of walking through Nagoya Station, which is the biggest station in Nagoya, and it's busy as hell.
Track 16. Track 16.
Okay. All these taxis. So I guess this is downtown Nagoya proper, which we haven't really explored yet because we were in Sakai. Around 17.
Track 16.
Please stay behind the yellow line.
Thank you, Ben.
Beverages.
Oh, yeah.
A little tea. What are you
Beer.
doing here?
Oh, there's one. So we got 10 minutes.
You get a drink?
Yeah. Oh, there it is. The other way. Going the other.
327号新大阪駅です。順先は列車前より1号車、2号車。